Live streaming is on.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. We're in the presence of royalty. We are connecting with Buckingham Palace right now to see the Queen and King of England, or Florida in this case, which is, if you talk to the Queen, she'll probably say that's a part of England anyway. That's what royalty says. Anyway, hello, Jimmy and Amanda. How are you?
All right, David. How you doing, buddy?
Thank you. Doing amazingly well. Thank you very much. As you see, I picked that T-shirt for you today.
I love it.
Nice. It needs more mask, though. It needs to cover.
Yeah, to cover.
I think you just pull the shirt over your head. I think is the best way to go. Right?
Yeah, I can do it. I can do the whole thing all the time. Like
all of a sudden, everyone's a bank robber. You know?
No, don't encourage them.
No.
They will probably come.
There's no money in the bank. Everybody go.
Guys? Let me check. YouTube. Yes. Don't encourage them. Okay, sound off. YouTube. Yes, we're live. I was just checking. How are you guys?
We're doing pretty good. We're staying in and cooking more and spending less money because there's nowhere to really go spend it. And Florida's, some things are open. You can go down to the beach here as long as you stay apart from everybody. And we haven't done it. We went to the beach at midnight.
Yeah, we just drove by to see it was a beautiful night. So it was
a pretty night.
Yeah.
But it's been, Amanda's, you've been working a lot, right?
Yeah, working. I mean, it turns out that being a freelance artist is it's like nothing really changes. You stay inside your work. So
for us, in a way, this is I've been talking to everybody, Lee, Wade, and everybody. It's like, well, this is what we do. In a way, this is what we do. We are used to be at home. Many other people is suffering a lot with this because they're including Paloma, because he's used to work in the office.
She has to have you 24/7 now, right? She has to deal with you 24/7.
That's her chair. That's it. So
it's right behind you.
Well, hopefully she's not, because she's just kicking in the head. But they're not used to this. But in a way, we are so used to work at home that this is not such a big thing for us.
Right.
But it is for the people who's suffering it. Is it affecting you guys in any way? Like feeling the risk around your, if you leave, or you are just, adapting?
We're really careful.
Yeah,
and we have to be super careful because my parents are in their 70s, and we go visit them a couple of times a week, and we still stay away from them, but we sit across from them, and we just don't want to bring anything to them that would be bad.
We were really, in a way, we were prepped because in January we went to the Birds of Prey premiere in London, and right then they started doing stories about the virus in China.
Yeah.
And we ordered, before we left for our flight, we ordered mid-January. We ordered masks and we ordered stuff. So, and when we went to London, nobody was wearing them when we got to London.
Yeah, we didn't wear them in London, but we wore them on the flight.
Yeah, on the flight. And then when we were going home 5 days later, they were asked us on the plane, did you visit China? Where did you visit? Kind of thing. And we got home and we said, okay, it's going to get crazy. And we went and ordered a bunch of supplies. But we already had a lot of the supplies because we're in Florida and we prep for hurricanes.
Of course, absolutely, yeah.
So a lot of the supplies, the cleaning stuff, the masks, the water, all that kind of stuff we had already because we planned for hurricanes. So it's kind of the same material.
Yeah, I haven't thought about it. Of course, you have hurricane season, so you got to be ready. So for you, this is also a part of life already, because you have to get ready every year for hurricane season to have a supply at home. Yeah.
Right. And so it's been, it's the interesting part is, we have friends that have gotten the virus, and we've had, thank God, no deaths, but, little complications afterwards here and there. My roots are in New York. Even though we're in Florida, in the United States, they consider Florida the 6th borough of New York. There's Staten Island, there's Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island, Manhattan, and Florida, because there's so many New Yorkers here. So they've been having it really, really tough because you just can't go anywhere. You've been to Manhattan so many times.
Yep.
It's all it is subways, trains, and people. It's like, you can't avoid anything in New York. So they've been having it tough. We've just been being careful. We're being good citizens. We're not getting in people's faces, and we wear the masks everywhere. And
every once in a while, you'll get like a non-believer that without a mask at the store, and they'll just be like looking at you with the mask and rolling their eyes like, you know. So just to give them a lot of room, because God knows where they've been. Yeah,
I mean, you think about it, we're just going to adapt. We're gonna. It's sort of like seat belts, motorcycle helmets. Yeah. Things like that. It's just going to be us adapting to whatever we have to do. That's the human race,
Well, yeah, absolutely. In a way, the mask has been something, in Japan, as you know, or other places, they always wear the masks, and they are like used to been doing it like forever. And even with that, with them being so used to you wear the mask, the virus won. Right. So in a way, we have to get used to do what they've been doing for years. Wear the mask in every public space, keep distances, etc., etc. But as you said, except for those ones who are, the only goal in life is to win the Darwin Award, which is to die because they're stupid.
That's right. That's right.
The rest of us are going to adapt, survival of the fittest, which is in this case the non-stupid.
Yes, it definitely, if you're going to depend on somebody else to tell you how to act or do, you're in trouble. You have to read the facts, follow science. Yeah. Make your own decisions and be smart. And people need to depend less on other people. This is something that is about research and knowledge and science. It's not about politics, opinions, and craziness, because there's a lot of...
It's not about, what, I don't believe it. It's like, I don't care if you believe it or not. There's something that's called facts and science. Bye.
Yeah. I mean, David, there's a group of people out there that think the Earth is flat.
Yeah.
Right? Now, we know that's not possible because cats would have knocked everything off the earth by now, right? Cats would have,
they couldn't be anything on Earth, yes.
So we know that's not possible. We know the Earth is round. Otherwise, cats would have just destroyed everything. But, so you have to deal with that. And you're right, natural selection, hopefully natural selection does its job. We'll see. Yeah.
Do you remember, aside of Birds of Prey, do you guys remember the last movie you went to watch to the theater before all this apocalypse started?
Yeah, what did we?
Besides Birds of Prey,
I think it was wasn't.
You already mentioned it, Jimmy. I'm not making.
I know.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Tarantino's movie, was the last one we saw in the theater.
Did you miss it? Did you miss going to the movies, to the theater?
Yeah,
I miss going. I do like seeing a movie in the movie theater.
Popcorn is much better in the movie theater. I don't know why. Like, you're sitting there, it's the
experience.
It's the whole experience.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't think it's better. I don't think that's part of the whole experience. So you like them more.
Your brain thinks it's better.
Right. I mean, I like the fact that if you see a comedy, everyone's laughing in the theater. Laughter is contagious. Yeah. So the feeling, it's sort of like a sporting event as well. Everybody's cheering, everybody's laughing. People are very excited to be there. So there's an energy that comes with groups.
Yeah.
That we miss.
Yeah. And I feel like drive-in movie theaters should come back into style, because then you just take your car and you go and you sit in your car and watch the movie theater. I miss that.
Do you have drive-in movies?
There hasn't been in vogue, in trend here in Spain for the last 30-40 years, I would say.
Oh, okay.
But 2 weeks ago, two open. Like, this is the only way we can do it. So 2 drive-ins.
Yeah.
One near Valencia, I think, and one near Madrid. They opened like last week and this week. Drive-ins, close windows, blah blah blah. You bring your own stuff home. Of course, you're not going to open the window, so somebody brings you the virus or whatever. 2 open the last 2 weeks. So, as you were saying, that's the way to come back to the theater right now, because the theaters, when they open here on phase 2, I think it is, they're only going to be allowed to be 30% capacity. Right. To keep the distances. So if I'm a theater owner, I'm like 30%. It's impossible to make the money back. You're losing money for opening.
Right.
So I guess that's the way to get those open theaters back.
Right. Yeah, we have one in Tampa. There's one near us.
The last time we went to a drive-in movie theater was over 10 years ago. I had adult chicken pox. And I had just finished Power Girl, and I was like, what are these things on me? And I went to the doctor, and sure enough, it was chicken pox. So I stayed inside for a couple of weeks, but at about day 10 or 11, I got stir crazy. And Jimmy, darling that he is, was like, I know what to do. So he put me in the car, and we went to North Tampa, and we got not White Castle, Crystal Burgers.
They're
tiny burgers, right?
Like White Castles.
So he just, and he, kept me far away from the people at the window. And then we went to see Date Night at the drive-in movie theater.
It was fun.
And so I was able to get out of the house with my chicken pox.
Although you see all the cars in the drive-in, they're all going, I think it's a teenage hotel.
No, I am so surprised. That happens? Shit. So what are you watching right now? What are you watching on TV? Are you watching any TV shows that you are like, yes, oh my God, I'm loving this one?
I can only handle like 2 TV shows that is like Jimmy wants to like before we finish watching something, he wants to move on to the next thing because his brain can handle all that plate spinning. But me, I can only handle 2 things at a time. So we are on the last season of 30 Rock. Again, I'm watching it again. Every time I get stressed out, I go to 30 Rock. And we are also watching Future Man, which is really fun.
It's on Hulu, Future Man. It's
that's one of the things we don't have here. Hulu, for whatever reason, Disney or Fox, they don't want Hulu to be international. All the other ones we have.
Hulu's great.
That stinks. I'm sorry that they don't have that.
I had Hulu like back in the day on my Apple TV, I had it on a VPN.
Yeah.
But since we got Disney Plus a month ago, I was like, well, in the United States you can get Hulu. I knew we're going to get an ESPN because it makes no sense because of sports, other channels have the rights. But Hulu is like, we don't have Hulu, so they'll include it. No, Disney decided that for international, it's only a kids streaming service. It's not. You cannot get Hulu here. So you depend on some company, buying that series,
right?
Series, so you can have those here. But we don't have Hulu. So Future Man I haven't seen, but I'll make a note.
Yeah, Future Man is by Seth Rogen. It's his version of Back to the Future meets Terminator with TNA and blood and guts, and a lot of high, Seth Rogen humor type stuff.
If he like in every episode, you'll see like nods to 80s like sci-fi movies. It's great.
Yeah,
that's good. If it doesn't get repetitive, boring, and over the top as Stranger Things, because I love the first season of Stranger Things, but after that it was like, you know what, this is just too much. There's no even a story you want to tell. You're just dropping reference one after the other. So and I love Rogen's humor. He's just capital crazy.
He's great. And with the other one I've been watching is Justified. Which is just a great show. And then what else? That's it for now. I mean, we've been working. So Amanda's been very busy. Amanda has a book coming out in the States. It's a new collection of Amanda's work. Comes out in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, people. Hey, 2 weeks.
There you go.
Okay, Pedro de Mercader is telling me on the chat. In Spain, you can watch Future Man in HBO.
There you go. Well, check out Future Man.
The Astonishing DC Art of Amanda Conner. Guys, 2 weeks in all stores. If you don't buy it, we'll chase you. We know where you live.
That's right. It's a collection of like it has her Wednesday comics. It has Before Watchmen, Silk Spectre, the 4 issues, Harley Quinn Invades San Diego special, Harley's Little Black Book 1, the 25th anniversary special, the Commandy Challenge, and Batman 68. So the whole book is all the art of Amanda collected. And this is like the second book.
Guys, since Paloma is not around, she's with the kid now, you can start asking ECC to publish this in Spanish.
Okay. We'll ask them.
The Spanish edition of the DC Astonishing. And that would make them probably, that's another excuse for them to come back to Spain and see you all.
That's right.
I'm not saying they need the excuse to come, but it's
right.
That's one of the things
we were bummed about.
We were so missing coming to see you guys. We were so sad about that.
We were excited about Barcelona, so we'll just have to do it next year. That's all.
Absolutely. You know,
Yeah.
things will change to get back to where they were in a way.
How do you
We'll just miss all the crazies who will be dead. And,
Yeah. How do you think that conventions are going to work now that like everybody, it's like everybody's probably going to be wearing masks, and people, go to conventions and they actually already have, really elaborate masks. But
Yeah.
but like when, fans and creators want to take pictures together, how is that going to work?
They're going to have to come up with a cure.
Yeah, I
before
I don't think that's going to happen before that we have the vaccine. You know,
Right.
No.
and people is going to understand it, because in most cases, most governments are going to say, they are saying it now. You know, like the limit is in some countries, if you have more than 500 people together, that cannot happen. You know,
Oh,
but
Right.
in some countries is less, in some countries is more, or certain states. But what's going to happen is they're going to say 30% capacity, you can go, and then lines all over. You know, like you gotta stay here. Even in Artisali, it's going to be 2 meters.
yeah.
Feet for you guys, I guess. You know, 6 feet.
Yeah.
They're there. You cannot even get together. So when you go to the creator, you gotta stay 6 feet apart. You know, from the table.
Right.
Yeah.
It sounds bad, but
I have an idea, though. I think we should have the conventions out by the pool, and then if people want to hug us, we can both jump in the pool, because it's chlorine, and we can both jump in the pool, and there's an underwater photographer taking a picture of us underwater, and then each of us come out. Then it should be okay.
only if the photographer is Dave Johnson.
Yeah, well, Dave will just drown. Too patient, he'll be drowning. But,
okay, but that's not our problem. He should.
No, it's not.
No,
yeah, they'll come up with something. They'll come up with some weird stuff. You know, until then, that's why we on our paper film site you can send books to us, and we sign them, and then we send them back. We've been doing that lately because a lot of people want their stuff signed. They don't want to wait for a year or two. So,
just to see how amazing these two people are. They are getting your books home for them to be signed. Most of people doesn't do this, so
we rub the books too. We rub them with both hands before we put them back in the bags.
For good luck.
For good luck.
With gloves. They use gloves.
With love, yes.
So, Jimmy, you're right now. Your last thing is POPKILL.
Yes, by our good friend Juan Santa Cruz. We just finished the Kickstarter this morning.
Yeah.
So it ended at a very healthy number. I mean, we're going to be doing 4 Kickstarters with it because it's a 4-issue series. So hopefully people stick for the long run. But the people that backed it, the great thing about the Kickstarter is digitally anybody anywhere in the world can back it, and that was the great thing. We had a lot of digital sales, over 300 digital sales, and those will be available once as they say, once the checks clear, once the funds get processed. We're sending the books out to everybody, the digital books. So that goes out that day, and this morning we set the print run on the book, so that it's at the printer, and that's going to take 3 weeks. They told us, so 3 weeks. Then we get the books, and then we ship them out within 2 weeks. So another month, month and a half, people will get their books.
I don't think they're going to complain because of that time.
And once they open it, they're not going to complain. You know, Juan, last night we were talking, we did a podcast with Dave and all the guys, and we were talking about Juan, and I was realizing how many times I've worked with Juan. Like how many books, a crazy number of books. He's been somebody I've been working with since I met you. In the early 2000s, Juan, we've had a book going since The Resistance, Twilight Experiment, Painkiller Jane, stuff at Dark Horse. We've always had something going. He's one of my go-to guys because he's probably one of the best artists in the business. I still think he's so much better than most of the people out there. His storytelling skills are great, and he is not a lazy artist.
No, that he's not. And recently you discovered his coloring too.
Yeah, his coloring. I love his coloring on it. I know it slows him down as far as how much work he can get done, but it's worth the wait, So we have another Kickstarter we're doing, and he's actually working on pages for that as well.
Yeah.
So I like to keep him busy. You know,
Oh.
we keep Warren out of trouble.
Yes, but he needs to. He needs to.
Is his English any better, or he's still, you know? No, it's like my Spanish. It's crap. Amanda can speak better Spanish than I can.
I have no doubts about that. But I was gonna say that with all the situation, you know, we had the crappy situation with Diamond, etc., etc., and you know, DC moving in a way to other distributors, etc. Marvel and DC jumping and doing what they hadn't done with it, you know, going digital only with a lot of stuff, or you know, going digital first with the stuff they never had done, or that thing about, you know, the trade paperbacks were always 1 week in advance for Diamond and then for all the distributors, and it's not happening anymore. So there's a lot of changes happening at the same time. But the change that I see the most important here is exactly the Kickstarter thing. Because people are not realizing how much money has been poured by people, by the readers, into Kickstarters in the last month. I mean, yours, I mean, Starling's Dreadstar, I mean, you know, everything just been seen around. Just money, and people is just going for it. So there's something there. Every time I hear, you know, sales are bad because there's not enough readership in the United States or all over, I keep going back saying you are not watching the Kickstarters.
Well,
the problem is that they cannot get their books they want, maybe through the regular distribution. Maybe the problem is there. What do you think?
I think there's a couple of things. So with the Kickstarters, it's sort of like their favorite creators unleashed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're not doing the characters like we would do Harley. You know, we're not doing their characters, somebody else's characters, where they tell us what to do. The Kickstarters are us doing what we want to do. And I think there's a certain amount of fandom that loves to see the creators kind of strike out and do their own thing. I mean, you know, Sean Murphy got his running, and and I just think it's not all a fandom, because like I look at the Kickstarter we did maybe had 1,200 backers, and if you had a DC comic where you only sold 1,200 copies, it'd be canceled tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But because we offer other things like the personalization of the Kickstarter, the autographs, the contact, the special covers, the things we give away, and you know, it makes every one of the Kickstarters special. And I think that right now, I mean, you know, look, as much as there are a lot of Kickstarters, there really aren't. If you look at it, you know, there's only like a dozen or two that have, you know, names you would even know, but most of it is just constantly people putting out their own books. You know, for me, this is our 13th, and I've been doing it now many years, and it's just, I know the people that buy my books. We meet them, I talk to them online, they support my Kickstarters, I see their names every month, and we have new people every time. Every Kickstarter we get new people, and I know it's a grassroots operation, meaning we have to make each person happy so they come back for the next one. So that kind of tender love and care, the big companies don't really do. You know, they just put the books out and expect you to run around and sell them. But for us, it's personal. So, you know, we put a lot of love in these things. And I think people who really love comics love the idea of the creators doing their own thing and benefiting from it. Because let's be honest, if I owned Harley Quinn, if Amanda and I owned Harley Quinn and created it, we'd be you know, millionaires, multi-millionaires right now. But a large corporation is benefiting from it. Us, not so much.
Yeah, but in a way, you think that these changes are going to stay? I mean, people focusing more on the creators, people focusing more, the distribution changing. How can we get to more people?
Well, that is the, you know, that's the ultimate goal, right? Is how do we get new readers?
Yes.
And I think that always depends on availability and content. So, so the comics, so, you know, DC did pretty good with getting the comic books in Walmart and Target.
Absolutely.
That helps. I also think having comics that people want to read, you know, I think that if something's fantastic, people love it. If it's crap, they don't buy it anymore. And we, you know, I will say 90% of it is okay, where 10% of it is amazing.
Yeah.
And we always find the amazing. Comic fans always find the amazing. But new ideas have to happen. You know, when Amanda and I started working on Harley Quinn, I'm using Harley as an example. We had moms and daughters come to us with the books, and they said, the daughters and the moms say, "This is the first comic book I've ever read," you know, and that's like the best thing in the world, right?
Yeah, they would read it together. You know, it's something that moms felt like it would be fun to read with their little girls, and I thought that was so cool. You know, and to have a comic book that moms and daughters like to read together.
Yeah, I remember we were doing a show, and I think it might have been New York or something, but Dan DiDio was with us, and he pointed out, he says, "Look, it's all like moms and daughters online. What is this?" And I'm like, "That's a new audience, Dan." I said, "That's somebody that we don't see in the comic shops that often, and now they're buying comics together, and they're bonding over them." So we do need to have that kind of stuff, and I think that's where the YA stuff is important. But again, it's a constant battle, and you know, the companies have to figure it out. With the Kickstarter, we know how to do our distribution. We mail it to your house, or we put it digitally in your email. But DC and Marvel has to, you know, the big companies, Image, all of them have to figure it out. And that,
absolutely, you know, I know this. I had a chat with Dan a couple of weeks ago. We were discussing on Walmart and Harley Quinn too, and you know, saying that was an amazing initiative because Walmart got the comics to people who haven't found it already in a long time, and Harley was also. Remember what we lived in Sweden. You know, you had that girl and those other girls coming. You know, literally just almost, and in some cases not almost, crying in front of you guys because I have never read something like this that talks to me this way.
Right.
You know, because those books talk to them. And in many cases, I know, and I was telling Dan, I know the machine has to keep cranking. I know the books have to be going every month. I know this is a business. You can't stop the business. Right. But at the same time, that swallows itself. Because in a way, there is nobody who just stops and says, "Hey guys, look at Harley. That gave us a new audience. Why don't we push in that direction?"
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because Harley stands still as a lone thing, as that thing you did that was amazing, that opened many doors to new readers, but it stood there.
Right.
But there's nothing that they said we have to build around this.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's not an easy job, and Dan DiDio got spared. Dan DiDio got spared. He got to get out of there before all this craziness went on.
Yeah. I also talking that, like, look at you. You're not complaining now, right?
No,
right now, when all the shit hit the fan, you're out. We're like, no, I'm not missing. I'm not missing.
It was really funny because, you know, the internet could be cruel. And when Dan left, people were celebrating. And I was like, be careful what you're celebrating, buddy, because, you know, that guy was a gatekeeper for comics. You know, he was the guy that went out there and met people and said to creators, "What would you like to do?" Mm-hmm. Like, and we don't. I'm sorry, but nobody's doing that right now.
No,
you know, and so the comics are gonna. I think they're gonna be a little different coming up in the future. And without a guy like him, it's gonna be a little tough, you know, because they're gonna be a little more corporate. I think. Yeah. And Dan was not a corporate guy.
No. Remember the first thing I did when I knew? I texted you saying, "Is he okay?"
Yeah.
That was the only thing I care. The only thing I care is, like, is he okay? And then I talked to him, and he was like, "You know, I'm fine. I won't say the other." The person is what matters.
I couldn't get him on the phone because he was dancing around the house so much. He had the music blasting and he was dancing. I mean, what a stressful job that was too, you know? So, I mean, he deserves all the credit for so much stuff, and he deserves the break as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, you know, if people is going to keep calling him, trying to get him back, we'll see. Anyway, let me say hello to people so they think I'm ignoring them.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello, Ivan. Hello, Ramon. Hello, Ramon Bax. Hello, Daniel Maine. Paula. Pedro. Jose Enrique Machuca says, "Hey, hello, Sarah. My favorite couple in the comic book world."
Oh.
Javi Montes right there. Pedro de Mercado, blah, blah, blah. Daniel Maine. Maybe it's too much curiosity, but I have to ask. What is the American flag with comic strips in the back? Is it a project you're working on?
This is okay.
A new comic format.
Okay, so this is my friend Dave.
Dave Ryan. Yeah.
Dave Ryan, and if you look close, the stripes are all female superhero comics.
This is actually a present for me. He gave it to me, but right now I'm like cleaning out my studio and I need to like find a really good spot for it. But it's all female comic book characters.
Let me move it a little closer so you can see the stripes and the stars are all female characters.
Nice.
So Dave made this as a gift for Amanda, and I feel like Billy Tucci having a flag behind me. But we thought, how cool, you know, it's got all the female characters from DC and Marvel, and we love that creativeness. He's just so creative.
Yeah.
So I have that behind me, you know.
So
you know where we are.
Yeah, Amanda, you've done, you know, a gazillion characters, female characters, you know, like Painkiller Jane. You've done Power Girl. You've done Harley. Are you sick? And the covers for Captain Marvel, of course, recently.
Yes.
Are you sick of doing female characters, or you are like, I want to do another one? And if so, which one?
I enjoy it so much. I'm not sick of it. Yeah, I just, you would think I would get sick of it, and I don't. I don't get sick of it at all.
No, I know you won't. I know you don't. I know you, but I just for people to know.
As far as what I'd like to do more of that I've done already, I would love to do more Power Girl.
Mm-hmm.
I love that character so much. But then at the same time, I'm also really into the idea of doing our creator-owned stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have like all these ideas brewing around in our heads for creator-owned characters. So after I finish up Harley and the Birds of Prey, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start diving into to creator-owned stuff. And I know I've been promising to do that for years, but this time it's for real.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I was talking to Lee the other day, and we were remembering Sweden, two things that you will remember, and it was funny as hell. He still has the pictures and the videos of Sad Deadpool.
Oh, Sad Deadpool. Yeah. Remember the guy?
Oh my God, yes. Oh.
Remember how obsessed he got, and he went all day around chasing Sad Deadpool.
Yes.
So I was thinking now that he deleted it. He showed it. He still has the videos, and he still has the pictures of Sad Deadpool.
Have you ever shown that on your podcast yet? Because that's pretty awesome.
It was really funny. And the other thing we were remembering, and you will remember, dinner last night with the waitress that hated us.
Sassy waitress.
Yes. I just mentioned it. He was like, "Oh my God, that's true," and he couldn't stop laughing about it. Like,
I could swear if she didn't have an accent, I would swear she was from New York.
Yeah, the funniest part was like, remember can you take a picture of us? No.
Yeah, she was like,
she just fucking left, and then she comes back. Is a picture? Like, do I have to? Really? You're like, she's gonna. I remember it was like, is he gonna kill us?
Yeah. She had like eye rolling down to an art. She's just like,
oh yes, he was a professional of the eye rolling.
at least we're not talking about the story where I threw out all the ketchup. So do you remember that?
Of course I do. I am not bringing that up. If you want to, I am controlling myself.
I had to teach them a lesson. Those people.
You don't mess with ketchup in front of me. You just don't.
Don't mess with my ketchup.
Did you see the Twitter? This was like, I don't know, 6 months ago.
Oh,
Jimmy went on a ketchup buying spree, and right after we got home from home from Sweden, yeah.
I wanted to make sure we had enough ketchup in the house.
He bought like 4 or 5 32-ounce.
I didn't buy them in a row. I kept thinking, I know I got to pick up ketchup, but I forgot that I picked it up. So when I got home, there was like 5 bottles of ketchup in the fridge, and Amanda's like, enough with the ketchup.
I left a note for him.
Yeah, she left a note. It made it on the internet.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Let me see what people says. Jimmy, Fran Sanchez asks, Jimmy, how did the creation of Marvel Knights happen? Did a Marvel publisher propose it to you? I mean, I guess he means editor, but yeah.
Yeah, so what happened was Marvel was in Chapter 11, was not doing very well, and they were having problems. They were canceling a bunch of books. They were canceling Punisher, Daredevil. There was like 4 main titles they were publishing, and The president at that time was a guy named Joe Calamari, and we called him Joey Squid, obviously, and
Absolutely.
his mob name was Joey Squid. Joey Squid. And they were looking to try something, and Gareb Shamus, actually from Wizard Magazine, recommended, why don't you talk to Jimmy and Joe? So I went up and met with Calamari, and we talked, and we brought Joe in, and we all got together and talked about maybe like us wrangling, like grabbing like 4 or 5 titles to do on ourselves. They would pay us to produce them, and they would also so we had to pick which titles, and the ones we picked were the ones you saw: Daredevil, Punisher, Inhumans, and Black Panther. And then we said, well, we want an office in the building, and they were like, okay. And then we said, well, we want the penthouse office, the one upstairs, and they gave us the penthouse of Marvel Comics. And
it was like a rooftop sort of.
Yeah, it was a rooftop thing. I mean, we would go out on the roof, open our doors, and there was the Empire State Building right down the street. It was beautiful. But it came about because they were experimenting, trying something different. And Joe and I just pretty much just hired our friends at that point. That's what we did. We tried to match the right people to the book. Kevin Smith mentioned he wanted to do Daredevil, so of course we were going to do Daredevil with Kevin. We had Black Panther. Joe worked with Christopher Priest at DC, was his editor. So we thought he'd be great for Black Panther. And then I hired my high school buddy, Mark Texera, to do the art. And that's what we did with all the books. We hired people we knew. And we did a big launch, and we went out to the media and did it. This is before computers were a big thing. And, so we went out and did TV shows and MTV and all that stuff, promoting the books. And it worked. I mean, people were looking for something new.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And, so it was all about timing. It's funny because every time a company launches books, I always say, why don't you look what we did to Marvel Knights? Don't launch the way you're launching. Launch 4 titles, make them the best titles you can. Do not launch 30 books. Do not launch 2 books. Give them something to get behind, Yeah.
But you also guys did an amazing thing, which is in many years in the industry, nobody had really said, maybe Karen, with Vertigo, haven't been able to read the audience so well. I mean, you perfectly knew what the audience was waiting for.
Yeah,
that's what you wanted to read.
Yeah, it's what I wanted. I mean,
instead of giving them, what was expected.
Right.
You didn't give them what was expected. You gave them, like the old Steve Jobs phrase, I give you what you don't know you want, but when you see it, you know you want it.
Well, yeah. I mean, and also, it's funny because people were dismissive of those characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Punisher, Daredevil, Inhumans, and Black Panther, they were not the most popular characters when we took them on.
Absolutely.
And people were kind of sick of, because there was a lot of Punisher books. They were getting sick of Punisher. And Daredevil was getting canceled. Nobody was buying it. And Inhumans, nobody cared about.
No.
And Black Panther, nobody cared about.
No.
And we were like, okay, well, we're gonna, Black Panther is perfect because we wanted like an urban characters. We wanted them all to be urban city, live around a city. So we just treated them like they would treat the X-Men. We treated them like the best way we could treat these characters. These are the greatest characters, and we're going to show you again why they're great.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what every fan does, right? Because Joe and I were fans of the books. We remember the best parts of the character. Why do we like this character? And then that's what we try to do with the books. So, it's a simple formula, but you'd be surprised how that formula gets corrupted with a lot of diverse hands. The more people involved, the more things get watered down,
Yeah, too many cooks, right?
Yeah, too many cooks. There was just 2 cooks. It was just me and Joe. So either we were cooking the right menu or we were cooking the wrong, but we got lucky. We got really lucky.
Yeah. And artist Aneke, hello Aneke, how are you? Hi, do you guys recommend artists in the industry to try and make their own comics? What path would you recommend to get to the right public as a whole author of your own books? Or, second part of the question, or is it better to partner with a writer to begin with?
Well, if you have a story already to tell, then, tell that story and draw the art with it. But if you are stuck and you don't have a story, then see if you can find a writer to partner with.
Mm-hmm.
So, first of all, that. Second of all, like getting it out there in front of people feels like right now, the way to do it is, see if you can do it online, like do like maybe a weekly online, comic, like you have a chapter every week, a small chapter, or if you're really fast, do it daily. I wish I could do that. But
me too.
What do you think?
I wish you could do that too. Yeah, I think this is a unique time because people can create Facebook pages and Twitter and all these accounts. They can talk to the fans and they can show them doing the art live. There's so many. You have to kind of put yourself out there these days. You can't just be drawing and being quiet and disappearing. It's the people. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. You have to kind of make a little noise. And if you put your art, especially for artists, right, even more than writers, if you put your art out there, somebody's going to see it. Absolutely. And want to hire you. Because although we're inundated with comic book art, the reality is it's a talent that only a few people have. Mm-hmm. It's not millions of people are not comic book artists. It's thousands of people.
Yes.
It's not, it's not hundreds of thousands. It's just that. So it's a limited group of people. And so getting your stuff out there, eventually you'll be seen. And I always say, tag the person you're a big fan of or an editor. Tag them, let them see the art. You don't have to push it in their face, but let them know you're out there. Believe me, if you're really good, David will find you and snatch you up and make you one of it. What?
Yeah, no, I put the mask on. Yeah.
Well, it's like John Timms, who drew Harley Quinn for us. John, we met him in Costa Rica. He was a guy that came in. He was online to get comics signed. He put his portfolio in front of us, and we
were like, "Whoa!"
I told him, I said, within a month, I will have work for you.
Mm-hmm.
He was that good, and he's been working ever since. So it happens all the time. Stick with it. Endurance.
Yeah, and Aneke is that good, and she's getting work from Marvel and DC and the others. So she'll keep growing. She's a really good artist and an amazing person. Juan Antonio Gonzalez, Jimmy, do you? I know the answer is no, but I will ask anyway. Jimmy, do you miss Inky now that you're focused on writing?
Do I miss it? No.
See?
Do I like? I like doing it, and I like sketching and drawing, but I don't miss it. You know what I mean? Like missing something would be I'd be sitting there thinking, "Oh, I wish I had a pen."
He likes doodling.
I doodle. I doodle all the time. I doodle all the time. Every page has a drawing on it.
It does.
But I don't miss it so much because I need to focus on one thing at a time. All right, enough with that. Get out of here.
Don't get to the penis one.
The penis one. There's no penis one in there. Sorry.
It's like a
totem pole.
Totem pole with like angry, scary gorilla faces.
All right. Show's over. Anyway,
when you get to Amanda, when you get to the people being killed over, the missing ketchup, you show me.
That's right.
Okay.
I don't miss it that much.
Take your ketchup away.
I figure there's enough people looking for work. I just opened up the inkers market for other people. Since I had one, I remember when I stopped thinking, I had one other professional go, "Thank God, now I can get some more work." I'm like, "Sure, buddy, whatever you say."
Yeah. Look from Howard asks, Amanda, where do you get that style of drawing on your characters' faces? I mean, it means how can you get your characters' faces to be so expressive?
I actually, well, both of my parents are artists, so there was always like pens and paper just all around the house, and my mom always encouraged me to draw. But as far as facial expressions go, two of my favorite artists to look at are Hilary Knight, who did the Eloise book. A lot of you might know of the Eloise book, and his drawings are so simple, but the faces are so much fun and so expressive. Even like the little animals have like facial expressions. Also Chuck Jones. He's my guy to look at for facial expressions. He's one of my favorite animators in the whole world. I love his stuff so much. And my dad is also really into Chuck Jones, so I always had somebody to watch Looney Tunes cartoons with when I was little. I could always get my dad to sit down and watch Looney Tunes with me.
Big Bugs Bunny fan, right?
Chuck Jones and not Tex Avery?
I do like Tex Avery too. Yes. I do but like Chuck Jones has a
She likes Bugs Bunny
in my heart. Yeah. Bugs Bunny. I really love Wile E. Sometimes I feel like Wile E. Coyote, and like you're the Roadrunner.
I just shared a link on the chat in YouTube with information about Hero Knight and Eloise, in case you don't know it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, Chuck Jones, Bugs Bunny. Yeah, what's up, Doc?
Chuck Jones and Hilary Knight are two really amazing artists to look at for facial expressions. Also, Kevin McGuire is. If you look at Kevin McGuire's stuff, he does amazing facial expressions.
Yeah, Kevin is a master on that. Daniel Maine asks, as a writer and artist couple, would you ever consider to change the role and work in a project where Amanda would be the writer and Jimmy would do the art?
That would be tough because I'm not crazy about writing. Like when I'm doing writing work, I'm just like, oh, I can't wait to get back to the art. I definitely prefer the art. I mean, we might try that to torture each other.
Right. If we were really angry at each other, that's what we would do. We would be like, oh, yeah? Well, here, write this story. And you go, yeah, well, you draw it. And then she'll be looking at the drawing and go, this is terrible. And I'll be looking at the writing going, yeah, you're okay.
Okay. Pedro de Mercader asks, you spent working on the Harley series many years. What are the keys for you guys and writing a long run in a book, in the same book like that one? And also second question, did the boom, because of the movies, the character got worldwide in popularity, affect the series and your writing at all?
We're the reason it became worldwide. So
okay, that was clear. Okay,
so it didn't affect the writing at all. It
didn't affect the writing. We did decide to change Harley's hair to the movie Harley hair, just so that she was more recognizable to people who might not read comics and then see it and go, oh, well, look, there's, Harley in a comic. And so I personally prefer the black and the red hair, but we changed it to the blonde hair with the red and blue tips. Just so that it would have a more, wide recognition for people who didn't read comics. Maybe we could get them to try and pick up some comics and read them. Yeah,
the secret to the Harley series and writing it that long was that DC left us alone.
Yeah.
They literally said, even when we did Rebirth, we were the only title that didn't restart. We just kept going. Because we told Dan, we said, there's nothing wrong with our book right now. It's selling like crazy. Why would we change it? And he said, that's the only book I'm going to leave alone for Rebirth is Harley. We're just going to leave it alone.
Why mess with a good thing?
Right. And also it came down to DC and Dan and Jim having enough trust that we knew what we were doing. Honestly, David, we didn't even tell them what we were doing. Like the next issue or the next month. They literally just said, you guys know what you're doing, just do it. When we did the solicits, we gave them a paragraph, but it never matched what we actually did in the book. It never matched.
Because Harley just sort of like ran in her own direction. It's like we would have an idea, and then all of a sudden a better idea would just come along, and we're like, yeah, we're going to do this instead.
Yeah.
So I don't think we drove the retailers nuts too much, because
people were just ordering it based on we were doing 2 a month and also a special in between, so it was crazy.
The end, it was we got serious burn. That's why we left for a little while, because we got really burned out. It was so much work.
We did
a sabbatical of the book because it was just too much.
It was 3 omnibuses this thick. 3 of them. This is the 3rd one. They're 800 pages. So we did 2,400 pages of comics. That's a lot of comics to do.
Yeah. That's a crazy lot.
Yeah, we're not going to do that again. It's a mixed blessing because it's wonderful she became so big, but we could have benefited more. Looking back,
That's why I keep saying, and I've said this in public, and I will repeat it over and over again, that you guys should get credit as co-creators of Harley, because Harley, there's Bruce and Paul's Harley,
right,
and there's your Harley, and it's not the same character.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't want to take anything away from Bruce and Paul.
Because no. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying to take it away. I'm saying there's their Harley and there's your Harley.
Right.
Well, you deserve co-credit.
We just want to involve her,
David, you know me. That conversation already happened.
Yep. I know.
And we were nicely shown the door, so that didn't happen. But I would have loved to see Amanda in the Birds of Prey movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one thing I was telling Jimmy, that one of the reasons I really like Marvel movies is because they will take the creators and they'll give them like little cameos.
Yes.
Of course you always saw Stan Lee because Stan Lee. But I remember watching Captain Marvel and going, "Hey, I just saw Kelly Sue."
Yeah, Brubaker and Captain America.
Brubaker, yes, Winter Soldier, yes, absolutely.
Do that, and they don't do that in DC movies, and it's a bummer. And,
it's real. Hopefully, Jim can change that.
Yeah, they did it with Mark on the TV show, but that was Guggenheim. Mark was, I want to have you there because Mark is a huge fan, so that was Guggenheim doing it. But of course, I agree. You guys should have been in that movie, both of you. You deserve a cameo. Pedro de Mercader asked how it was creating the story for the Punisher and the Ghost Rider video games. It was just like a choose your own adventure kind of thing, or it was more linear for you to write?
The Punisher one was very linear because it was a shooter game, and you pretty much had to either succeed or don't succeed and get killed. But Garth and I wrote that years and years ago, right after we did the Punisher run, and I wish they would modernize it so you can use it on the PlayStation or something, because it is still the craziest game ever if you play it. The Ghost Rider was a movie tie-in, so even though it was linear, it was less involved for me. It was more like, here's the story, you guys do what you got to do. Where Punisher was very involved. We wrote all the dialogue for the Punisher game, so it was like 2,000 lines of Punisher going, burn in hell, maggot, and stuff like that. So, so that was a lot more fun. I will say, games like Injustice, we worked on Injustice, had a lot of, that was like a different thing. And Mortal Kombat vs. DCU was another one that we had a lot to do. But they're pretty linear, more than you think, because honestly, video games are worked on by thousands of people. So you can't really be iffy with story stuff. You have to be right on the nose so they know what to build, Do
you guys work on the same studio together or in separate rooms?
Amanda's upstairs. This is my office.
Yes.
You can really see it. I have a big computer.
Yeah. Okay, because here we have the conflict between brackets that I need noise to work, I need cacophony, I need music or something, and Paloma needs, complete silence. She needs to focus. So in your case, do you guys work with music or something in the background, or do you just work in like no noise at all? The other day I was with Olivier Coipel, and he was telling me, when I do layouts, nothing. I need to completely focus. When I go into, pencils or inks, I go with music. Then if I'm doing an epic scene, I could go with, Last of the Mohicans or a, epic soundtrack. If I need something more emotional, I will go, with some other kind of music, etc. What's your process with that?
That's
for both of you, Jimmy. It's also
ladies first.
It's similar. When I'm doing thumbnails, when I'm like working through a script and I'm doing thumbnails, I pretty much I can do like with a little bit of background music, but even that, silence. I like to just have the quiet and just really think about what I'm doing when I'm thumbnailing things. Layouts, music is not too bad. I can watch a little bit of TV, but once I start getting into like penciling or inking, I turn on the TV just to listen to it. I like to listen. You're gonna laugh, but I need, first of all, I need to listen to television shows where I don't have to look at them. It's like I know all the characters and I can hear the story of what's going on in the background. Law and Order is really good for that. But my favorite thing is Judge Judy. I love Judge Judy because I just get to, like, hear her yell at people.
Do you get Judge Judy in Spain?
What?
Is Judge Judy a show on Spain?
No. People knows about it, but no.
She's a Brooklyn girl, and
we are crazy, but we are not that crazy. But that's not crazy, Amanda, at all. A lot of artists, including some of the ones I work with, for example, Pera Perez and others, they do the same thing. They have TV shows in the back. They are not watching, but they're listening to them while they're drawing, especially on the pencil and ink stage, because they already know them. So a TV show they've watched like 10 times, so it's just listening to them and not being forced to watch at the same time.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like murder shows, like those documentaries that they make about, that we have a lot of them in America. Apparently, Americans are very obsessed with, like the FBI files, people looking for killers, people looking for serial killers, or somebody who killed a beloved grandma, or, somebody who kidnapped this person, but they're set up in such a way that it's all narrated. So you're getting a whole story, and there's a lot of photographs and people being interviewed, but you're getting a whole story that you really don't have to watch, but you can listen to. So, but after a while, it gets really depressing because you find out there's a lot of murdering going on, and you really wish there was less murdering going on.
Yeah. Jimmy?
For me, I listen to music. If I'm writing something intense, I'll put the soundtrack to Interstellar on, or if I'm writing, or if it's something a little romantic, I'll put some John Barry on, and or if it's an action thing, I'll throw the soundtrack to Conan on. And so it's mostly just music for me. I can't watch TV. I can't have distractions. And I got to say, when I write, I think all day, but when I'm typing, I sit down on the computer and type my writing. But actually, I write all day long. I'm trying to think of stuff all day long. And when I finally sit down and have some ideas, that's when I start typing, I call it, as opposed to writing. Writing happens all the time. So
when I'm writing music, like I don't write it nearly as much as he does.
Yeah.
Like I'll do dialogue polishes and tweak dialogue and rearrange things, but music for that kind of thing, music works for me.
Do you have that notebook you just shown, for doodles? Is also your notebook for ideas?
I have
one of those guys who has the notebook around at all times. Like, oh shit, I just thought about this. Note.
Okay.
Don't show me the note.
I'm trying to find.
He's got such great drawings in it. He doesn't want to show them to anybody, and I love them so much.
I do make notes. I have a couple of files on my computer that are that are like
fight.
She's such a pain in the ass.
Like, look at this. This is like just so cool.
It's
I know. I love them so much. You had a really good wolf before, and I don't know where it is now. Where's your wolf?
Jimmy, you should draw for Mad Magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's canceled.
I know.
That's really sad.
That's why I'm drawing for them right now. That's how much
shit. So you can collect the perfect timing so they can tell you.
Pay very well since they're canceled.
Yeah, no, that.
No, I stick to my writing. I like to get better. I'd like to get better at the writing, so I'm trying to keep with it.
Okay, this is Ledger. We want to see Amanda. Don't stop showing. Jimmy can kill me now. I'm a long distance away. He will kill me in a year or something. But so far, those are amazing. I love it.
I know. Aren't they great? I love them.
They're pictures of you. That's a picture of you.
Are you guys working on something that is not strict comics? I mean, are you working on video game stuff? You're working on animation? You're working on illustration? Something that is not strictly on the comic field?
Yeah, Amanda's working on the kitchen.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Just keep talking. I'm just gonna.
Yeah. Anyway, you know what? I was working on a lot of film stuff, and then this whole thing came down with the virus, and everything's on hold. So the world's on hold. So right now I'm working on Kickstarters and working on books. Basically, right now I'm not even writing for anybody right now. I'm I'm just doing my own work right now because there's nothing in Marvel and DC right now for me. So and that happens once in a while. So I'm working on my own stuff. It's a good opportunity to get, as far as other things, those things come. Like once everything gets kicked in again,
yeah.
And then they start looking at stuff, and I'll start getting some gigs here and there, yeah.
This is really bothering you, isn't it?
Do you want me to go upstairs and grab all your drawings and start holding them to this? Oh, yeah.
Look at this funky guy right here.
Look at this funky girl over here. Look at
Guys,
this.
you just see, this is Amanda making Jimmy suffer for all the pain. Doing those. Yes.
I actually take these and blow them up and paint them.
You know when you sit down and do something personal and you're drawing, and then somebody walks in the room and starts holding it out to everybody?
This is only for me, intimate stuff.
Sorry.
That's how I feel right now.
Yes. So we're saying, in terms of others, that I always loved the stuff you've done with Juan, Twilight Experiment, Resistance and the others. But the one that bumps me the most, that never continued, the Cell Block Earth one. I think that was such an amazing idea. It was so beautiful.
Yeah. I actually talked to Justin about, because I felt like, well, because Dark Horse only gave us 24 pages, right? Yep. I felt like we needed like 48 and 64 pages. The good news is that I get the rights back for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I might talk to Juan about doing a story with it, deconstructing it and then doing pages between and after.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah.
And then doing it as a book, its own book, So that it's funny you mentioned that, because we got all the rights back to actually all the Dark Horse stuff, because that was the deal we had with them. So
an explanation, guys, but because thanks to Dark Horse, you probably don't know about this book. It was a story for Dark Horse Presents that then I don't think that was ever published at Dark Horse Presents.
No.
And it came directly in a paperback, the stories of Jimmy Palmiotti, blah, blah, blah.
It was a paperback. Nobody advertised. Dark Horse did nothing to push it. The good news is, because of that, that's why we got everything back. So, so I'm going to talk to Juan after he's done with the thing he's doing now, and maybe, because I'd like to blow it up, like to take a small town and have the one thing land in a small town and do a smaller story around it.
You know what? That could be an amazing European album.
Yeah. Well, if you can find a European publisher that'd be interested, we could do it.
No.
Okay. That's a challenge. That's the challenge.
Okay.
I put the ball in your court.
It'll be done, and there's no charge. That's friends doing friends stuff.
We want, we'll make some work for Juan, and
Absolutely, that's the point. No. I see it as when people. I will show you later. Whatever online, I will show you pages of that, and you will see how amazing it looks. The story is so amazing, and it was, they didn't do anything with it, but it sounds like an amazing, humanoids. Even humanoids in the US, but I'm thinking more about France.
Yeah.
With the whole story, a 64-page story with the type of color Juan does.
Yeah, man,
it's an amazing fit for the French market.
Absolutely. Look, you know how it goes. Once one day I'll be really famous, and then they'll look at all this stuff and go, "Oh, we got to,
Even those little drawings.
Even these little drawings that Amanda loves so much."
Yeah, we will get it. We will get it out in a museum. Those drawings, they belong in a museum, Palmiotti.
Yes, yes. What kind of museum, though? That's the trick.
Porn?
Right? Corn museum? Did you say corn?
No, porn.
The Museum of Corn? Do you have that in Spain? In Barcelona?
We have a museum of popcorn.
Popcorn? Like, did it have like
but it says the subtitle says always better in theaters.
There you go. I bet they don't have, don't let too much sun in there.
Amanda, can you say what you're working on now or not?
Yeah.
Oh, just the Harley Quinn and Birds of Prey is.
You want to get him a couple of pages to show a couple of pages?
Yeah.
She's gonna get a couple of pages. Nobody's seen them yet, David.
Are we allowed to do this?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because who cares?
Well,
No, you can get a couple of pages.
You cannot, guys, you cannot tell anybody.
Don't tell anybody. It's not out for a month.
Yes, we are not here. This you are just imagining it. No.
Yes,
nothing.
this is not. Don't tell
We are
anybody.
not seeing it. You are not seeing it. If anybody asks, you haven't seen anything, and this conversation with Amanda and Jimmy never happened.
Exactly. It is 4 issues, so this is only pages from the second, which is not out. And then we have 2 more to go, and then Amanda's doing her own thing, which I'm really happy about because
it's my fault. I got confused. I thought it had been out for last month. The pandemics. My fault. Yeah.
No, it's okay. It came out in February, and we're waiting now. The next one will be June, so that's how crazy the world is.
See, I thought it was March, so I asked them to show it. That's the excuse. If anybody asks, we thought it had been out since last month.
It's actually really nice because Amanda's drawing everything, and she only does that once in a while. Here we go. Here's some
make a decision, so I just brought the whole thing.
Okay, I'll pick some pages to show.
Don't show the whole issue. We won't have excuse for the whole thing.
Okay, here's a fun one. Let's see. We could see Atlee and Harley having some fun.
That's so good.
Let me get something more. There's some bad guys. Wait, we don't want to give away too much.
Right.
There's some fun stuff.
Cass and
the Joker fighting. And let's see. Get some of the Birds of Prey in here. We got a lot of Joker in this issue, huh?
Oh, there's a ton of Joker in that.
Ton of Joker. Yeah. A lot of Joker.
Yeah.
That guy. That freaking guy. You didn't even fill in blacks on this one, didn't you?
No, I filled them in Procreate.
I like to show this page, but we can't.
Procreate, guys, iPad Pro, in case you don't know. That's amazing.
When Harley imagines things, she imagines everything in animation style.
Yeah.
That's so great. I love it.
Can't show that one, right? Because they made us censor that one.
No. Yeah.
They made us censor.
Yeah.
The black label is not as black as you think it is.
Kind of a grayish beige.
It's kind of a grayish beige label. Yeah, it's not really exactly where the adult material we all really want. It's just some fun stuff.
Yeah. That is so cool.
Harley and her beaver.
Yes, Bernie is in the issue a lot. So
No,
not that one. It's a surprise.
Okay, enough. No, go this one.
Here you go, man.
I don't want to spoil it for everybody.
Okay, yeah. All right.
So, in terms of when you're writing for, what's the difference for you for writing for Amanda or writing for somebody else in terms of how tight you go? Does Amanda allow you to go tight in the scripts, or she's just shut up, let me do my thing?
Well, for a fight scene, I'll go, Amanda, I just need 3 pages of them kicking each other's ass. Boom. and she does that. If it's for another writer, I'll give them. If it's for another artist, I'll break down every part of the fight for them. And I'll give them reference if I need to, or I'll overstate what time of day something is. If it's for Amanda, I go upstairs and go, look, page 12 should be at night. So why don't you make it heavy shadows? So we can communicate, there's a lot of communication. The fun part about writing for other people is I don't know what I'm going to get.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the fun of comics is when you write them, it's like, oh my God, look how great this looks. Juan is a great example.
It's like Christmas all the time.
It's like Christmas. Yeah, you get each page oh, that's even better than I thought it would be. That's wow, So you don't really want to give too much to an artist either because you tie in their hands together and they can't get super creative with it. So I find it's a very fine balance. If it's the first time I'm working with someone, I'll write a huge long script. But someone like Juan, I just give him a sentence or two and some I call it placement dialogue because I always change it afterwards. And when I see his art, then I rewrite it to make it work with what's being on. So it's a little different. With Amanda, it's very organic. We go back and forth all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, she's writing it with me. most of the time. So she's throwing in her own ideas. She's arguing with me or being an asshole about things, or
That's Mrs. Asshole to you.
Mrs. Asshole.
Please,
She's a
let's
pleasure to work with.
let's be careful with the details, Jimmy.
Amanda's a delight.
Daniel Maine asks, if you had the chance to relaunch a comic character and work on your very own free of any chains version, no matter editorial or publisher's opinions, which character would you pick? Amanda first.
You mean a character that already exists?
Yeah, a character that already exists, that you say, I can reimagine it completely free, I can do whatever I want, the publisher will let me do it.
What I would love to do is I would love to team up Power Girl with She-Hulk.
Oh. I mean, let me get the phone. Get to Buckley and Jim.
Yeah.
Fuck crossover, JLA and Avengers. Fuck it. We want She-Hulk and Power Girl.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Yeah, I would probably want to do a full adult Harley and Poison Ivy, like full adult though, like nothing held back. I would add Power Girl in there too. I would put her in the book too, because the three of them, they would have an adventure like with Vartox, and I would love to do any character pretty much uncensored. I would even write Batman if they let me go full adult on it. I think Bruce Wayne has a lot of issues, and I think Bruce Wayne could be a really interesting character in the Batman books. A lot more interesting than he is right now.
Yeah, because everything that is in his mind, his traumas, let's be honest, all the shit he has in his head.
Yes.
It's always cover it. Let's not talk about that. Let's not explain why this guy, wears like a fucking bat every single night in his fucking life. Where's the issues are there? But of course, we cannot talk about them. So of course, we cannot talk about Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I mean, we did pitch a Bruce Wayne book, and they're not interested.
I feel like that would make a really good Black Label book, and it would. I'll talk to you about it later, because I think it could work.
Well, it can work, but at the same time, we're talking about the icon that you cannot touch, because it makes a lot of money.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
no Battle Wang.
Yeah, but you have a lot of versions, on the TV shows. You have like 15 versions of Superman right now.
Yeah.
And they are going to have a new TV show next year. So why can't we have 3 versions on DC Comics?
Or Marvel, or my thing is I'm done holding out for the big companies. I got to do it myself. I mean, I love working for them, and I'll continue. I have a Marvel series coming out next year, and I love working for them, but it's not going to be my main focus. So.
Yeah, but, you've been there, done that, I guess. If they come back, they come back, but you're doing your own stuff, which is something that I admire. You guys, Jimmy's been my friend for many, many years. Amanda too, many, many years, since the beginning of all of this in my life. And one of the things I will tell you is that if somebody has deserved to be on top of any publishing house, the majors, here is Jimmy. Amanda above that.
Amanda's already
Goddess of comic books. Amanda Conner, yes, that's title above it. But joking aside, publisher, editor-in-chief, anything.
There's no book that comes out that says the DC Comics of Jimmy Palmiotti. Okay, there's Amanda Conner.
Yeah,
she's a superstar.
Yes, he is. But I was talking about something else. You asshole. Stop. He should be as a friend, as a person who has helped many other pros, many other people in this industry. He deserves a lot more credit than he gets from anybody.
Well,
and as his friend, Amanda, shut his mouth. And as his friend, I'm going to say it right now. He deserves a lot of credit, and he should run the fucking company, or should have run it, because he knows. And that he's chosen his own path.
Yeah.
The way he's done in the last, the last few years. That says a lot about Jimmy, because he would be in charge of many companies, and he chose to be his own man.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be. Yes,
I'm not.
Let her talk first, and then you go.
He doesn't want to run a company. He wants to create wonderful things for people. You know, that's what he loves.
Yeah, thank you, David. That's really sweet of you to say.
Paloma is there with a baseball bat. You don't see her, but she's like that. If you don't say it, she's gonna smash me. She's there. If you see me looking like this, all the time, it's just, because I'm. Anyway, go.
Right? It's gonna be in the house. Yeah,
where is everybody in your house?
In the other room.
Hiding out. No children. It's funny because I've been doing this a long time, right? But I still feel it's brand new. I still feel like I'm doing this is a new thing I'm doing all the time. And I think part of that is to try to stay ahead of the curve, trying to stay very aware of what's happening. I mean, my office is inside a comic shop, so I get to see what's selling, what's moving, what people want. It's funny because there is a lot of things I could do that'll just make me a lot of money. Okay. But I don't do these certain things because I really do want to leave some sort of new. I want to create something new. I don't want to be the guy that did a run of this that was great or whatever. I want to actually create new stories and new ideas. And I also feel, and I know you feel this way too, is like you have all this stuff in your head, and if you don't get it out, that's going to be the regret you have when you're in the bed, Well, right
forever, absolutely.
Yeah. So, I'm always trying to look for the next big thing. Kickstarter was, I was one of the first to do it with mainstream comics. I'm always looking at new ways to get this stuff out, and I think that's what keeps everything fresh, and I think that's also what keeps certain creators vital, and then certain creators just go away. People that are really talented just seem to fade away at some level. And I think it's a choice they make. I think they're just not staying in touch with what's going on in the world. But thank you for the ultimate compliment there. And one day there will be a book like this. It'll probably be a week after I'm dead, but it'll come out. It'll come out one day.
Kikeman says, Amanda, this is for you. Both for you. I love your run on POPKILL. She's my favorite character. I have your hardcover on an altar, literally. We want that. We want a photo of that, Kikeman. We want a photo.
Oh yeah.
You said it. So Iruna, just Magda Price. She just came in. Is one of the most talented artists, new artists around. I don't say that because I rep her. She's young, talented. She doesn't believe in herself. You will be really big and good, Magda. Just so you know, I'm saying it publicly for everybody to hear.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That's so awesome.
Oh,
I didn't see a picture of that altar.
Yes, we want to see the picture of the altar here. Facebook, Twitter. We want to see the picture. You said it now. You have to prove it. I don't want to keep you guys much longer because we said an hour and it's been like 1 hour 30 already, and you're a busy people.
It doesn't feel like it's been that long. It feels like
a week.
It's such a smart ass. Something is falling. Wait, this is much better.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, it's this.
No, it only feels like it's been like 40 minutes.
No, well, we start with that. We won't stop. So you think it's better. Amanda,
it looks like it's been 82 minutes, but it's actually been 84 minutes. So that's really good.
It depends on your time zone or something. Anyway, see, Amanda, we started. It's just too late now. It's too late. Let me get my.
Yeah.
So what are your? Hey, David, behind you, what are those little pops? What are those Funko Pops of? Oh, James Bond.
Ooh.
It's Roger Moore and Sean Connery.
It doesn't look like them.
Nope. No, because there's the special versions, and then there's like the regular ones or something like that. But I'm trying to get, at least one of each of the bonds, like Connery, Roger Moore, Lazenby, Timothy Dalton, not Pierce Brosnan, and Daniel Craig.
The ones that look like the movie guys are the Jaws ones. Yeah.
Yeah. The Jaws ones look really authentic.
Let's see, who's that? Star Wars, Ray.
Oh, nice.
2 Rays. Ray.
Yeah.
Yes, that's because Erin loves it. And then I have like a Cylon here. That was
very cool.
That was in the limited edition of Battlestar Galactica Blu-ray.
There you go.
It looks really good.
Yeah, I have an Ashley Wood. I have an Ashley Wood doll here.
Are we showing off our toys?
Yeah, I'm showing off toys. So
all my toys are up in my studio.
Oh, okay. I have Ashley Wood.
Oh, nice.
That's Amanda likes that.
Oh,
that's Amanda's.
Great.
This is the let me see if I can open it. I don't want to break it. It's like the full flight plan for the Apollo.
Wait, look. Oh, give me a break. Wait. Has a little. Wait. Oh, give me a break. Okay.
Oh, look at that. That's incredible. Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of Apollo landing memorabilia. I even have a phone charger that is. Let me see if I can get it. The Apollo 11.
Oh, you froze for a second. And that's a phone charger?
Yep. This is the.
I gotta get one of those.
It's charging now. See the blue light. So this is a reproduction of the Apollo 11. You can also take it,
How about this? Who does that? Who's this? Do you know who this is?
That's Betty Page, right?
And who by who?
It's not Betty Page.
It's not Betty Page.
It's what's
Jordy Bernay.
Oh, Jordy Bernay. No, that's Clara de Noche, of course.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
That's Clara de Noche. Yes. We're just so you see, guys, we're showing you our crazy shit.
I know. Now you've got Jimmy like running around like looking for all of his. Oh, this is awesome, and it kind of works too.
You know who that is?
Not right now.
If you were an American kid, you would know. It's Charlie the tuna. He's in commercials for Starkist tuna.
You wouldn't know that though.
Yeah, you don't have Starkist tuna in Spain, correct?
Okay. Starkist tuna. No, we don't have that.
Yeah, he's the spokes.
It's a can of tuna fish.
He's the spokesfish for Starkist.
He used to talk like an old Jewish guy.
Well, he was Jackie Mason, right?
I think maybe Jackie Mason. Yeah.
Did his voice?
Lee Bermejo is watching, and he says we are absolutely crazy.
Lee, we miss Lee.
Yeah.
We
miss all you guys.
I know he's laying low in Italy right now, right?
He's hiding in the shadows.
His Instagram, he put some really beautiful artwork on yesterday.
That's amazing. I told him don't never tell us where he lives because we will just raid his house.
he actually is getting better. His artwork
finally, that's because of Sad Deadpool.
It could even be
finally. That's what David said.
That's because of Sad Deadpool. The moment he met Sad Deadpool, that made such a big change in his life that he got better.
I never said finally.
Well, you did. I heard you say it first. Amanda heard you. It was you first, and then I followed.
Lee's amazing.
I remember the first time I saw his artwork, I was like, "Holy shit!" Whoa.
We're hoping all you guys can come down to Florida at some point. It's very nice here.
Yes, it is. Yes,
You'd like it.
Yeah.
A lot of food,
when
though.
all of this craziness settles down.
Yeah, it will.
It'll happen. It'll happen again. It'll pass. We won't miss the crazies that we will die by natural selection. By the way, do you agree this is like the most boring fucking apocalypse in the history of apocalypses?
It's definitely slow.
Everybody is like, when you see the apocalypse in movies, it's like, oh my god. But now it's just like everybody's like dying of boredom.
Yeah, I was talking to Marv about this, and like 2 weeks ago, and he was like, "Well, in a way, we should be thankful because if this happened 30 years ago, we wouldn't have the internet, the video calls to talk to our families, Netflix, and so we could be literally crazy. We just have, our own home phones.
I think people would be playing.
Right now, we have everything, every possible way, to keep busy.
Yeah.
Even to work with our editors, or even to just watch TV. Or I was watching the other day, Benedict Cumberbatch and the other guy from the American Cell Holmes Elementary doing a theater show with Danny Boyle, live.
Yeah.
Right.
You are like,
cool.
You can't do that now. So it's boring, but at the same time, what could be doing if it happened 30 years ago?
Yeah. You can definitely find things to do.
I'm not a big fan of the multi-millionaires doing their live podcasts from their hot tub in their giant mansion.
Oh yeah, that's the.
I'm not a big fan of that. I gotta say, because I'm like people are stuck in a tiny apartment. They're watching, the celebrity in a hot tub, going, "This is terrible." They're drinking a martini. This is it's so hard. Be quiet. Well,
especially here in Spain, which we've been in almost total lockdown for 6 weeks.
Right.
When I see that, and people is like, "Oh, look at that celebrity! Oh, doing that! I love it!" And I'm like, "No, you're fucking stupid. How can you love it? He's just rubbing it in your face with a fucking martini, like."
Yeah.
I think it's how long was Anne Frank hiding from the Nazis?
Oh yeah.
6 months, I think.
Yeah. People.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Yeah. People can't stay in for 3 or 4 weeks. I think there's going to be a lot of divorces at the end of this thing. I think that's going to be the biggest thing. People are going to be like, "Ugh, what did I do?"
I finally realized I couldn't stand each other. I knew it, but I didn't want to accept it. Now, now I have to say that's the reality. No, I'm just happy we have all that stuff to keep us busy.
That's true.
I was worried at the beginning, the suicide rate was going to just go nuts. But I'm pretty sure all that everything that we have to keep us busy at home, has saved a lot of lives.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure
where are the zombies? Where are the zombies? Where's the blood? Where's the
where is
the clouds? The rain with red blood. Something like that. Even the squid. Alan Moore will have the squid right now.
Yeah, I think that'll come. I give it a chance.
Give it a chance for the giant squid to come and give it to everybody.
Yeah, it might happen. The apocalypse could be on the way. It just could be slow delivery, like your Amazon package.
It's not USPS fault, Donald. It's not USPS.
Let me tell you, after this virus stuff is done, 6 months later, people are going to get the stuff they ordered for the virus. They're going to get in the mail like, "Here's your masks," and you're like, "That was a year ago I ordered that."
You couldn't wait, but everybody couldn't wait, so that happens. It gets clogged. So okay, thank you, Jimmy and Amanda. Thank you, everybody. Please wait until so I can say proper goodbye to you.
Okay.
I have to say thank you to everybody for being here tomorrow with us in Spanish. Bartolomé Seguí, artist Bartolomé Seguí, and editor Oscar Valiente from Norma. Mañana con nosotros Oscar Valiente de Norma y el artista alucinante Bartolomé Seguí. Y Jimmy and Amanda, thank you so much for being here. You're amazing. Love you. And really, really miss you guys.
Miss
Thank
you too,
you. We
buddy.
miss you too.
Bye. We're leaving now, people. See you tomorrow in 3